Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to discuss about amino acids. So first of all, before going to amino acids, we should know what is a biomolecule. A biomolecule is a molecule which is produced by a living organism and it performs some important functions in them. And it is also acting as a building block of a living organism. So biomolecules are comprises of various different atoms, and mainly the atoms which are present in the biomolecules are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur. These are the major components of biomolecules. So if we move on to the next topic, that is the functional groups. There are various functional groups present in the biomolecules and they define its properties. Like we have hydroxyl group, we have aldehyde group, ketone group. These aldehyde and ketone both consist of the carbonyl group. Then we have the carboxylic group and amine group. Now, if we move on to the various macromolecules, there are various type of macromolecules present inside the living organisms, like polysaccharide. Polysaccharide is formed up of sugars. We have proteins, which are formed up of amino acids. We have lipids, which are formed up of fatty acids. Then we have nucleic acids, which are formed of nucleotides. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the amino acids. So these amino acids are nothing but the monomers of proteins. They are constituting together the proteins. So now moving on to the amino acids. Now, as the name suggests, amino acids. So it means it comprises of both amine group, this is this amine group, and a acid, that is the carboxyl group. So this is the general structure of an amino acid, in which a carbon atom is attached to a amine group and to a carboxyl group, and one hydrogen is there, and this R group is variant among different amino acids. For different amino acids, R may vary. So if we see, this is a molecule which is consisting of a positive and a negative as well as a negative charge. So it is a general structure of an amino acid. We can say it is a general structure of an amino acid. And amino acid is an amphoteric molecule. If we say amphoteric means it can act as both acid as well as base, means it can accept as well as lose protons when it is in the different pH systems. So if we discuss here what happens when amino acid is subjected to low pH or acidic solution. If it is low pH, as we know, low pH means hydrogen ion concentration will be more. So what will happen if we see here, then if more hydrogen is there, hydrogen will be substituted here. So what we get is COOH, H, R remains same, then NH3 positive. This will be the structure which we will get. When the pH is high, at high pH, what will happen? And we know high pH, the hydrogen ion concentration is less. So it will lose, this amine group will lose its hydrogen. So what will be the result? A carbon atom which is attached to a COO negative and NH2 and R and H. So as we can see here, the net charge is 0. Okay, and here the net charge is only 1 minus nothing else. So minus 1 is net charge here. And what is the net charge here? We can see only plus 1. So when the charge is 0, it means this molecule is at its isoelectric point. Isoelectric point is basically the pH at which the net charge is 0. So if at the isoelectric point net pH is 0, so it means that the net electrophoretic mobility, there will be no electrophoretic mobility, means in the electrophoretic apparatus it will not move because it is having a 0 charge, so it will not neither move toward the negative terminal nor toward the positive terminal. And this is known as the isoelectric point or isoelectric pH. This is the general structure of an amino acid. What happens at low pH? Hydrogen concentration is more, so it accepts a H plus at the carboxyl group, so net charge is +1. What happens when the pH is basic or high pH? Then there will be low hydrogen ion concentration, so it loses proton and then it becomes a -1 charge species. So now we will discuss about other amino acids. If we see here that amino acid in solution exists as zwitterions. So if we see, this is the simplest amino acid, namely glycine. Glycine is the simplest amino acid as its R group, which we discussed earlier, is substituted by a hydrogen atom. And this is the structure of the amino acid lysine, and it is containing more carbon atoms. And if we talk about this carbon atom, this is the carbon atom to which a carboxyl group and amine group is attached. The first carbon atom is known as alpha carbon atom. Okay? So alpha is here, this is beta, this is gamma, this is delta, this is epsilon. So depending upon the carbon atom to which the carboxyl group or the amine group is attached, it is named as alpha carbon. So alpha amino acid, or beta amino acid if it is attached to other carbon atom, and so on. So here I am telling you about what is the optical properties of amino acid. So let's move on to the next topic, optical properties of the amino acid. So if a carbon atom is attached to 4 different atoms, like it is a tetrahedral compound, so it is attached to 4 different atoms like A dash, B dash, C dash and D dash. If a carbon atom is attached to all the 4 different atoms, if the carbon atom is attached to all the 4 different atoms, then we name this carbon as a asymmetric carbon or a chiral carbon atom. Okay, if either 2 groups are same, then it will be a symmetric carbon, or we name it as achiral carbon. So what is this? Asymmetric carbon, chiral carbon and symmetric carbon or achiral carbon. So basically, let me tell you one thing, that if it is, this compound is containing all the 4 different groups, then it will be chiral carbon and it will be an optically active compound. Optically active compound. Optically active compound means it will rotate the plane polarized light. It will rotate the plane polarized light either to the left side or to the right side. We will discuss about it in the further few minutes. So if the compound is symmetric or containing an achiral atom, it is optically inactive. So we can clearly think, you can give me an example, like which amino acid will be optically inactive? Yes, it will be glycine. Glycine will be optically inactive because glycine is the amino acid, simplest amino acid, which contains HH, NH3 plus and COO negative. These 2 hydrogen are common. So it will be a symmetric, achiral and an optically inactive amino acid. This is the only exceptional amino acid which is optically inactive, that is glycine. So now moving on to what is plane polarized light and what is like rotation of the light. Okay. So if we talk about this light isn't like a vector, it is in different directions. This is the light. Okay. So this dot indicates perpendicular to the plane and this arrows line indicate along the plane. So it's in every direction. So when it passes through a compound known as polarizer, what we get is a plane polarized light. This will be a plane polarized light. Okay. When this plane polarized light passes through a tube containing a chiral compound, then what happens to this light? It is rotated. It is rotated like this. Okay. So it is, the light is rotated, plane polarized light is rotated. It can be either rotated to the left side or it can be rotated to the right side. If it is rotated to the left side, then it is levorotatory, and if it is rotated to the right side, then it is dextrorotatory. Okay. The instrument which we use to measure the amount of the light polarized rotated is known as polarimeter. Okay. If we see, then this is the specific rotation at temperature in degree Celsius and wavelength in nanometers. When it is said as A naught, which is the observed rotation, divided by L, which is the path length of the tube in decimeter, and C is the concentration of the sample in gram per ml. Like this, we can calculate the specific rotation of a particular compound. Okay.